I am live. Holy cow. I didn't know I was live right then. Mark just sent up in his new glass of whiskey. Ready to talk to you guys. Been a crazy week. Sorry, I just got off the golf course all looking sweaty and stuff. Did the LA trip. Actually, I was Salt Lake, then LA a couple days, then back to Salt Lake or San Bernardino or Pedro or whatever the hell I was at. We did some really cool stuff. So I did the best-selling Nissan Titan dealer in the country. Yes, is in Salt Lake City. And I did the hydrogen fuel cell semi that Toyota is building. I can tell you, that coming up, Tundra Dude's comments, no diesel Tundra. Not happening. Hydrogen fuel cell Tundra? A definite possibility, let's just say. So I did that, and then I did the went back to Salt Lake City, and I drove the GMC All Mountain concept. If you haven't seen it, it's on the Instagram. I think I did some videos or photos of it. I have to double check. Pickup truck talk or pickup truck and SUV talk on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Basically, it's a lifted 6-inch 2500 GMC with a gas engine, and it's got the Matt Trax tracks. Say that 3 times fast. It drives like a tank because it's got tracks. That's how that stuff works. Right. So I actually incidentally got stuck while I was doing some video for it, and had to put it in reverse and actually back out of a snow. Or was that snowblind? So yeah, not good. So what am I doing? There's lots of comments here. Not now. Wait for everybody. Don't start yet. All right. Okay. I'm waiting. So yeah, so I've seen your videos before, and actually wanted your on the snowblower review. Let me figure out what to get and get it. Yeah, so Big Red is a machine. Funny story about Big Red. So if you haven't seen Big Red is the name I gave to a Honda snowblower I got because it's got a really I don't know if I can cuss on this, but I want to say BS. So you guys get me there. It's got a really long name. And it's HSS 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, whatever the hell it is. I call it Big Red, and I got to tell you what, it's a beast. It's a beast. But funny story is that the lady who got it for me from Honda quit the company. So actually, I have it in my garage, and I'm not sure what to do with it. I'm kind of hoping Honda reaches out and tells me what they want to do with the snowblower because it's a $2,000 snowblower. Yeah. It's not expensive. If you haven't seen the video, there's a Big Red kicks butt. It kind of had some fun with it. Did some creative license with it. It's pretty badass. I don't know what to do with it. I think it's on Sean. I think it's on a spreadsheet somewhere buried within Honda. So I'm not sure they know that I have it. But here's the thing: it is a beast, and it's great for the application. But for my application, it's actually too big for what I'm doing for it. And so I want my garage space back, and I have a smaller snowblower I want to put back in my garage so I can park my lawnmower in there. Right now, Big Red does not let anybody else in the garage with him. He is so big. And so I kind of want to get rid of it so I can have some room in the garage again. Yeah. But there's supposed to be a blizzard here on Friday, so look at like 9 inches. So I'm kind of happy I still have Big Red, but I don't know what to do with it. They have a new PR person. A journalist actually switched over to the dark side, as we call it, and he's with Honda PR. And so I'm gonna reach out to him and be like, "So, what do you want to do?" And I get the extension on the loan. So I was supposed to have it for 11 months. It was 11 months because after 12 months, I have to report sales tax on it because I own it for a year. And so I was supposed to have it for 11 months. I got an extension for another winter, so they actually paid sales tax on it for some random reason. And I don't know what to do with it. I really don't. It's just sitting in my garage. What up from North Carolina? I want to say I've been there. I've been. Is Raleigh or Charlotte? Is that North Carolina or is that South Carolina? I think it's South Carolina. North Carolina, I think. So hey, sorry everybody. Didn't mean to start yet, but it's been a crazy week. Like I said, I was on 6 planes last week in Salt Lake City, in LA, and then back in Salt Lake City, North Carolina. So hey, I've been there, Raleigh. Yeah, Sean, you're right. Big Red is a big pain to move around. But he is pretty damn impressive. Once you get him going. because he does the entire sidewalk. Again, see the video, check it out. It's really easy to use them, but it's a learning curve. Like literally, you'll fall on your ass, and Big Red looks at you like, "Dude, what's up? I'm right over here. Why'd you fall on your ass?" It's a couple of things. So yeah, 6 planes is a lot. Trust me, my knees and back hurt like a pain in the ass. So yes. Oh, all right. So Sean brings me a point on Honda. So I guess I'm stuck on this for a moment. My person was actually with the Honda. Is it power? No, it's power equipment. Excuse me, power equipment. And so they have lawnmowers, they have weed whackers, they have chainsaws, they have all sorts of stuff. And I was literally like, I wanted a weed whacker. I know it sounds weird, right? Well, I'm 40 years old. I have a house. I mean, weird shit happens, right? I mean, that's what stuff I wanted. So I really wanted a lawnmower and weed whacker, and hell, I would use a chainsaw too. I got some trees to cut down. What the hell, So, and then she left, and so I don't know what to do. She's with Borg Warner now. If you have questions about Borg Warner products, I guess the transfer cases. So yeah, I'm gonna check that out. Anyways, I think I had some video. I don't know if it showed my YouTube on the Instagram, but I can show you photos of doing it. What was really cool, I'll get back to this. So can I do this? Can you guys see that if I do that? Can you guys see that? Your brother-in-law didn't have a weed whacker? That's dumb. Those things are awesome. So that is the all-terrain concept, right? And so that's the all-terrain. And then I got some video. So, oh, sorry, that's my, check this out. That's an old fashioned that they make extra smoky. So they put this bottle on top of it. I had a couple of them because I check it out a few times. I had to product test it, right? And I did a slow-mo video of the slow-mo video of the whatever. Anyways, so that's that. And then that's the back half. See those lights that there? That is speakers. Dude, we were jamming out to like some old Guns N' Roses, the crew on the side of Park City in the middle of the mountains, just waiting for the videographer. Videographer was shooting some B-roll, and in the snowstorm, like it started like it was coming down pretty damn bad. And so, but before that, I was driving this. So we did a snowmobile tour because we're doing snowmobiles in the back, and then we didn't think there'd be enough snow because it had been so warm the day before. And then it started snowing like crazy. And so we're standing out there basically in the middle of a blizzard almost. I mean, it was really coming down. Then we were able to do the GMC. But so that was that trip. Yeah. Let me see what else I got on this. I have videos. I'll do a video of myself. There I am. So when I catch my breath, there's me with the big ass goggles on the helmet, which is, I don't know. Honestly, I've done snowmobiles and the helmet's cool, but it's kind of overkill. You're not going that fast. Not a big deal. Although my California boys, so a lot of outlets in California, and California boys crashed their snowblower or snowmobile. Sorry, snowblower. We're talking Big Red. They actually crashed, rolled it over. It was kind of funny. I waited for him, and then I tried to take a piss, and I fell in the snow, and yeah, wasn't a big deal. All right, I wanted to go back to the hydrogen fuel system. Oh wait, you Thunder fans, check it out. Come on, rotate. All right. So I share this Instagram. Have you guys ever seen this? Think about this. This is a generation 1, or I guess initial generation Tundra. It's a long bed. It's a regular cab long bed. I've seen double cabs like crazy. Have you guys ever seen a long bed regular cab? This was in the so Toyota had a parking lot by the where was that? Distribution center. So right around it was a port. I guess I was in the port of Long Beach or Los Angeles. They're neck and neck right next to each other. And I saw them in the parking lot. And there, you know what there was? There was several owners there who had Gen 1 Tundras. They were all over the place. So yeah, I have a bunch of B-roll of the semi. Or not B-roll, but I have video of the semi. Have you guys ever seen the casket hauler? Yeah, definitely. Have you guys ever seen the semi? Here, I'll show you the semi. So that's my fat ass next to the semi, the H2O semi. That runs in hydrogen. And I'm going to tell you something. You're going to hear a lot more about me from that. I actually Truck Trend wants a story on that. and I sold it to him. So I'm gonna write a story on that, and I have some videos of me talking about the hydrogen H2O with hydrogen fuel cell semi. Here it is. I mean, here's the common sense thing. If they can build a Mirai, which is the small car, and they can build the semi, the big semi, guess what they can build in the middle? Everything. Their entire lineup could be hydrogen fuel cell. And when you're towing 80,000 pounds, I think that's 0 to 60 faster than double as fast as a diesel. I don't think they have times. It's really impressive. So I rode with a guy, and he lived there, worked in the Port of Long Beach as a hauler, whatever his name title was. Anyways, drove along Long Beach and the Port of LA. Had a really cool hotel room, though. Looked out over a bunch of sailboats, and I saw a cruise ship go along the way, and all these docks and ports and stuff. Yeah, maybe it's something that long bed. I don't know. That was really interesting. Oh, and if you're not following Pickup Truck Talk, you're missing some gems like this. Yeah, this is why you need a truck. Right there. All right. So follow on Instagram. I was thinking what else. Nissan. So I know you're Tundra guys, but you get it. All right, stay with me for a little bit on this. Nissan. There's this dealer in Salt Lake City. He's been for 4 years in a row. He's been the best-selling Nissan Titan dealer in the country. And you know why? He does stuff like this. Let me see if I can't move it. Right? So it's lifted, NFAB on it. How many pictures did I take of that? There's that. I don't know if I get close the blinds. Let me close the blinds. Sorry. Impromptu. Okay. So it's all lifted, and he's got one with a tent on it. Look at that with a tent. Kind of badass. So he's got rows and rows of these. Oh, and this is the deal. So this is Marvin. I call him Mr. Miyagi, which is, if you don't understand it, well, watch Karate Kid. Be able to them. They took a Nissan NV van, which is kind of a 12-person hauler, kind of a not really great van, and they took the front end of a Titan and they put it on there. So they have a 4-wheel drive Nissan Titan NV van, and they connected the 4-wheel drive system so inside the dash. So if you turn on 4-wheel drive, it's a push button. It shows in the dash it's 4-wheel drive active. It took them 5 months to get the wiring harness figured out for that and program it correctly. And once they did, they have a $42,000 Nissan NV van that's a 12-passenger. They'll tow like 9,000 pounds and has 4-wheel drive. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. All right, let's see. I'm gonna go back a little bit. I'm sorry, I didn't. I gotta say something. Mark does a great job. Tundra34 does a great job of reading all the comments, and I do not. I do not do a great job. I blame the whiskey, but yeah, whatever. I should be. I really should be. What do you say? Sponsored by Pepsi? Yeah, screw that, Mark. Let's be sponsored by whiskey. Better. Winning. All right. So Thunder Dude is in Arkansas. That makes sense. I'm just teasing. We're at in Arkansas. I don't know if I've been in Arkansas. I've been north. I haven't been in North Dakota. I haven't been in the Northeast, Maine, Pennsylvania area. I haven't been out that way. Rare breed on the long bed. Very cool tracks. DJ DV, I've seen that same ad too. You drive over and it wraps around and you connect the tire with the tracks. I don't know. Maybe I can product test it and see what happens. I don't know. This was really impressive. They take the tires off completely. They mount it right to the axle shafts. They told me that it took about 2 hours when it first started. Now it takes about an hour to get to switch out the axles with the axle shaft. The biggest thing is you can put the tires on pretty quickly. You can spin the tire. But if you don't have the axles lined up, the tracks lined up correctly, it's tough to get the lug threads to come through, the lug bolts to come through. Great picks on Thunder Pickup Truck and stuff. Thanks, Mark. Really, Sean, you're seeing those at Home Depot and Lowe's on the weekends? You see plenty of that? I don't know. I just hadn't seen any of it before. I thought it was pretty interesting. Let me go back up. Paul says, hello, everyone. Tundra Whisperer. I like that name, Whisperer, because Mike Swears, chief engineer for Tundra Tacoma. Now he's FJ and Forerunner and everything else. They call him the Truck Whisperer. That was a press release they put out, and Mike and I go way back. Here's something new for you guys. I'm actually working with Toyota right now and taking a trip to Japan. There's some compelling reasons that should go to Japan. There's some news Toyota is making on next generation of vehicles that they're talking about going to Japan. And I got to tell you, I don't like long travel, but I love telling the story, and so I have some pro and con about going because it's 14 hours, I think it is, from Denver. So I can connect in Denver and fly out 14 hours. Then you land. You got to take a super train to Tokyo City, I think it is, and then you got to go another hour in driving to get to the Toyota headquarters. So yeah, not really looking forward to that one, but there is some compelling stuff. I've been so the good part of my job is I know a lot of stuff as far as I can share stuff with you. The bad part of my job is I know a lot of stuff called embargoed. So I know a lot of embargoed information that even though I drink a lot of whiskey, I can't share because it'd be no bueno. So I'm telling you, Toyota's working on a lot of stuff. Yeah, lots of stuff going on. John said, "How was the trip?" The trip was fine. Air travel, you eat your pretzels, trip back and forth. Salt Lake City was interesting. Again, I have a video coming with the Nissan Titan dealer. Check the pickup truck plus SUV talk on Instagram for some stuff on that. Literally catching my breath. I was gone from 6 a.m. Monday morning to 9:10 p.m. Thursday night. And so I really needed a couple days. I'm hoping sometime early this next week I can get these videos out to you. And a 1794 review. I'll get that out to you. The Salt Lake City, the dealer's smart. He worked at a domestic for like 20 years, then came to Nissan, and I mean, lifted in tires. What's interesting about him, what's really great is I have the video kind of prep. I want to do a preface to it. Is that it's not about I let him do his marketing thing, and that's fine, and that's what he needs to do. But it's really smart is that he came from domestics and came to the truck side, but he understands trucks. And he's doing a lot of good stuff with Nissan, and they pushed the envelope. So NFAB, what's that lifted company? High Country, is that a lifted company? There's not High Country, but I feel like there's a country lift company, and so those companies had not made lift kits for Nissan Titan, hadn't made any aftermarket stuff, hadn't made any anything for the trucks at all. I mean, the Rough Country. Sorry, thank you, John. The second generation. Nissan Titan had like no aftermarket support, and these guys started creating the aftermarket support along with Icon, who does the 3-inch lift now, 4-inch for the Nissan Titan, the brand new one. They have pushed the envelope, and so it's really cool to see these guys drive in the marketplace. And it's really a sense where dealers have gotten involved and said, you know what, we're going to create the marketplace whether it exists or not. And the Nissan Titan did not get aftermarket support, so that was really cool to see. Hopped on a plane after 4 or 5 hours. Ate a really greasy spoon place. It was kind of a funny story. The lady at the counter like dropped her drink because she was high on meth. Like, really high on meth. It was really not good. So then this food on the trip was really interesting too. So I flew to LA, got to LA, and we had some nice little dinner nearby. Then we had dinner at a Cheddar Barge. If you haven't been to Cheddar Barge, this place, it's on my Facebook. You can friend me on Facebook. It's fine. There's a it's a barge on the end of a pier surrounded by a bunch of boats, and it floats. Okay. And it looks really sketchy on the outside. It's a Cheddar Barge, San Pedro, I think where we're at. Really sketchy. Great food. Really clean interior. Fantastic place. However, I had to go to the bathroom, and I was debating between going there or they have at their center, their dock, they have a place to go. And I saw some pipes that run down into the water. That's it. That's what I think they're doing. I did not see a septic system. I don't know how they're doing that. Sorry to get gross on you. I'm drinking some more whiskey. All right. So, yeah, I'm not really sure. Really good food. Amazing tacos. Went to a dinner place. Had a really good, amazing food. The dock is fantastic. Mark talks about this quite a bit on Thunder Dude. If you guys want to see Toyota really in action, go down to the dock on San Pedro. They have Toyotas lined up for days. And I was thinking about this. I think one of his live streams, he talked about the or videos. I want to say it's 2018 videos. He talked about the new color of blue on the 4Runner and Tundra. I saw them. I saw the new blue. I don't remember the name. You guys would type the name in here in a little bit. I don't remember the name of the blue they came out with, but I saw it all over the place at Docks. They had like 4 or 5 of them there. Voodoo. There it is. Voodoo blue. See, I told you guys would come up with this. Voodoo blue. And I got to tell you what, you're wrong, Mark. You're wrong. It looks pretty badass. It looks pretty badass in person. That 4Runner Voodoo Blue sitting on the sitting. It's in queue. What they're doing is loading up on car trailers or a train. They actually have a train depot, and they load them up on trains. What's crazy is they have these train cars. Like they load the cars on the train. They have, I guess passenger cars, whatever they are. They have to drive them all the way to the front, walk out, and then like keep driving, loading them. So they load them all day long. Can you get pictures? I will say this. I could not get pictures. And the reason why is whenever you walk into a Toyota facility, they want to put stickers over your phone. So they'll put stickers over the camera features. And it's always a weird situation. So I'm using my friend that I travel with quite a bit in Toyota PR. Him and I shoot ideas back and forth. And I usually just don't take photos at all. I let him take the photos. I don't think it's gonna happen. Pixar didn't have. Yeah, well, I'm a journalist there, that Thunder guy, and I'm a credible source. So yeah, it happened. Stop. It's tough. All right, so video, but I don't. I guess I'd have to look at Calibrated Blue again in person, but the Voodoo Blue is pretty amazing. It really blew my socks off. Wait, I said that. Just blew my socks off. Incidentally, I had to buy socks on a trip. I forgot to plaque them. Yeah. That happens to me quite a bit. I'm getting old. I need to make a packing list. How about you guys? But I cannot keep track of what I'm taking with me on trips. Especially this one, they wanted me to wear snow pants, bring snow pants and snow boots, and then bring stuff for LA. I was so unprepared for that. Yeah, because I mean, in Salt Lake City in the mountains, we had to go to snowmobile shop, which fortunately they equipped you everything. So I had snow mobile outfit on, helmet, all that kind of stuff. So I was fine. But it was quite the trip to kind of pack for. So yeah, and Salt Lake City's fine, but LAX is terrible. I guess it's 22-minute mark. I should talk about next week, since next week's tomorrow. Next week, I got to work on Swede, my 62. A weird brake issue I got to figure out. He doesn't have brakes, and everything's new, so I'm not sure. I did something wrong, and I got to put the controls for HVAC I say HVAC, but it has no air conditioning, for the heater and the vent back in, and the windshield wipers back on. I have the plastic to put on the front cowl, and then I'm driving him to Denver the week after. Yes, I'm driving him to Denver, 200 miles, doing the F-150 diesel drive in Denver. I don't know why. Ford does a lot of events in Denver, and I haven't figured out why. But I'm gonna drive him down. I have 2 outlets that want photos, or they want stories of driving him to Denver. And I realized that last time I drove him down was in December. I drove him down twice, back to back. It's 200 miles each way, 400 miles round trip. It takes about 4 hours because I skipped the interstates. And it turns out outlets wanted that, but I took really crappy photos because I was really concerned about him getting out in Denver. He's 62 Chevy C10. Really concerned. So I took a lot of I had to get there, and he had a carb issue. I think it was a carb. The throttle bearing was kind of loose, and 55 miles an hour, he was choking out like chicken, trying to keep up with stuff. And I was really concerned about him getting down there. So stressful trip to Denver. So I'm gonna get him ready this week. That's the plan. If I get a chance to go to the farm, I got the engine sitting out on my 66. I need to pull the cherry picker out and pull the engine out. So Sean asks, does altitude have a larger effect on diesels? The only diesel I have is a small GD. I will say this. It's not the altitude that's an issue on diesels, I don't think, per se. It's the turbochargers inside the diesels. So the turbochargers suck in air, and that's how they spool up and create more charge. At higher altitude, you have less air, right? And so you have less to the turbos. I have asked this question. Yeah, same with EcoBoost. I've asked this question several times, and I have not got a straight answer. I really haven't. Some of the people tell me with turbochargers that basically they performance equals a natural aspirated engine, and the aspirated engine goes slower because it has less air, because it affects turbochargers and EcoBoost the same. I'm gonna give a shout out to my TFL friends at TFL Truck. I've watched; they have the videos on their Ike Gauntlet, and I don't agree. I've driven from my house to Cheyenne. Cheyenne's about, I think it's like 2,000 feet, and you drive 80 miles an hour on I-80 heading to Cheyenne, and I cannot get fuel economy out of EcoBoost. I just can't get it, and I've written about it. It's not there because you're in the boost for so long because you're sucking down the air, and they're trying to get the engine going. The 5.7 liter V8 from Tundra or any 5.6 liter from Nissan, whatever, naturally aspirated, I get right at EPA. I typically do. Turbo diesels. So I've driven the Ram 1500, the Eco Diesel, and I have done that, and it does all right. But you can't pass. Like it's got no guts to it. I actually was towing my neighbor's boat. Oh, he's got a 19-inch fiberglass boat or 19-foot fiberglass boat, and EcoBoost was the worst. Eco Diesel I could barely pass. Tundra was like, what? We towing something? What's up? Let's go. I mean, it had tons of I could lay into it. So yes, altitude does affect turbocharged engines. To what degree? I cannot get a straight answer. Whiskey kicking in. No, that's actually average. If you watch my podcast, that's kind of what it is. I've heard the guys there's a real world test here. It seems like TFL does subscribe to that theory. Yeah, I think TFL has the same theory I do, and Roman and Nathan and Andre, they're Russian. The I spend a lot of time with these guys, so I think that's one of the things that is interesting is that yes, I'm in truck trend, I'm in diesel, I've been in four wheeler, I've been in I have one JP magazine coming out this fall. I did snow bashing with a Jeep club in Cheyenne or Casper, excuse me, and yeah, I mean, what's cool is I travel these guys quite a bit, and so like Car and Driver, Road Track, Motor Trend, I'm often at the bar having a drink with these guys, and we're often talking about stuff. And what comes down to it is we end up sharing the same thoughts: is that sea level turbochargers are great, and off the line, the F-150 is great. Off the line, the EcoBoost is fun. It's a fun truck to drive. I just cannot get the fuel economy, and so I think that happens quite a bit. I'll be curious to see how the F-150 diesel, which I'm surprised they haven't done like a cooler name for it, right? EcoBoost, the Coyote 5.0 liter V8. Seems like they would do a better name than just blah, it's a diesel. I don't know. Eco Diesel, Echo Diesel. They have the Echo Sport. Call it something. Maybe they don't want to talk about the Steel Thunder from Ram. Yes, finally said that about those engines. Yeah, Ford is tough because Ford is very protective of a product, and they are very. I get lots of phone calls from Ford PR team about their product. I just don't have it. I just don't. I just do not get what they get fuel economy. And I've driven it quite a bit, and I love their trucks. I'm supposed to get an F-250 and F-350 in May. I think it is the 1st of May. I'm supposed to get both of those. And the great trucks, I mean, the turning radius in those is awesome. So Ford has an additional motor inside the steering wheel, and it takes the truck and makes it turn like an SUV, takes the SUV and makes it turn like a car. I forget the terminology for it, but it's really, really good. And turning radius is fantastic. And they build a solid truck. I just can't get the fuel economy. And I don't know. Maybe and I will say this, I don't think it's just me. Lots of journalists do it, and I think a lot of owners think they get the fuel economy, but when you actually challenge them on that, and I have, they cannot tell me they do on paper. And I think Fuelie.com, two L's, Fuelie.com is a good source to figure out fuel economy because I think lots of owners put their fuel economy numbers on there, and that's a great place to see how the trucks are doing. Sean says, I agree. My buddies have F-150 don't get what Ford is reporting, not even close. Yeah, I do not I don't have that. Yes, whiskey's kicking in. I played 18 holes today. I walked 9. My fat ass walked 9, and had some chili, but I don't think it's whiskey kicking in. Okay, so I think what else the questions were. Did you guys see the podcast? I haven't had a chance to put the podcast went on Friday, but have you guys seen the Colorado bison yet? Yeah, they're nice, but after a while, a lot of at least the cars and SUVs turn to rattle boxes. And yes, I've dealt with it at work. I'm like to have something nice run them off. It seems like it is interesting. Ford's fleet business is so good that a lot of people end up driving Fords at home because they work on Fords all day long and work with them or whatever. There's a great story on Truck Trend about that, which I won't share. Anyways, Toyota interiors just better fitted. I will say this: Toyota interiors do feel like they're fitted together better. They're not as sexy. There was some conversation about the Ram on the Livestream Markhead, and the Ram interior is phenomenal. Ryan Nagode is their chief interior designer, and maybe exterior designer too. Anyways, phenomenal. And if any trucks come the farthest in the past 10 years, Ram has. They've really built a better truck these days. But I just have issues with long-term reliability. And Sean says, agree, they're bland, but it works. It is. I've owned one. I've owned a Tundra. I had a Crew Max. I would say it was 2013 because I wanted to recline rear seats. And as somebody said, it's an honest truck. Excuse me, I should say somebody. As Roman Micah has said, it's an honest truck, and it works really well. And so it's I'm not sure. I'm trying to use my mic over here and see if you guys can hear me. It's a great it's a great interior, and it works really well, but it is bland. It just is. And the new Ram interiors are they're amazing, and I would love it if their reliability got even better and better. Ram's really working on that, and to me, they're challenging Tundra. So I've heard this many times, and you got to dispel this rumor: is that the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America? It is not. It's not. Sorry. F series of trucks. The F series of trucks is the best-selling truck lineup in America. So if you look at the numbers closely, F series would be what it is. And F series includes 250, 350. And they tell me it's not the 450 and 550 and 650, but I don't know. It's hard. They won't tell me the numbers. They don't break it down. So it's hard to solve that. I think competitively, Toyota's competitive in the half-ton segment. And because I don't know that everybody needs all the fancy interiors. But I don't know. I mean, Toyota sells quite a few Tundras, and so they aren't flashy. The technology is behind the times. Entune is okay compared to the Uconnect system with Ram. Uconnect's much better, and so yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for the newer trucks in the marketplace competing against Tundra. But I don't know. It's what you want in a truck. Do you want the interior comfort? Do you want the reliability? Do you want dependability? What do you want? That's the competitive landscape is so competitive these days with pickup trucks across the spectrum that it's fun to drive a variety of them. Oh, the larger GM and Chevy gassers. I've driven my share of them. I like the new IP, the instrument panel on the Chevy and GMC. I just drove the 2500, as I showed you in the in Park City. The new generation heavy duty will be coming out. GMC is going to come out in the fall, or actually probably January, Detroit Auto Show. I should write that up as far as what to expect. They'll be out. They'll be the Denali interiors on those is phenomenal. And did you know they sell like 60% of all GMC trucks are Denali interiors? Yeah, people are spending that much money on the interiors. Sorry, my Instagram's blowing up. So really great interiors, and people are spending the money. So yeah, Sean, if you look at the numbers, it's like 65,000 is like the minimum on Denali 2,500, 3,500s. I mean, it's somewhere in that range, maybe 3,500 to 25,000, 65,000. And so that's a lot of dough, a lot of money. And they're just selling them because people don't go to GMC for a entry level truck. They go to GMC for a Denali. If they want an entry level truck, they go to Chevy. That's kind of the difference. And so it's interesting how much they're selling. I will say the new Duramax is mightily improved. Mightily improved. I drove it October, something like that. We did Moab Telluride, and I was with the chief engineer for GMC and Chevy, Eric Stanzik. Him and I were chatting about it, and they've really improved the passing speed from like 25 to 40. It passes. It has additional. The way they set the gearing has a lot more guts, and so you can pass in a fifth wheel if you're going that speed. Funny story. Just talking about this last week, I think it was. Yeah. So Eric Stanzik and I are driving along in the truck, and we're driving back towards Telluride, and we turn on the corner, and this guy has this amazing place, I guess you could say it, full of old GMCs, Chevys, Fords, Rams, Toyotas, everything. It's one of those like truck graveyards in the middle of nowhere. I want to say it's like an hour, like northwest of Telluride, in the middle of nowhere. You come around this corner, there it is. And we pull in. He's got shops. He's got all sorts of stuff. He had like 12 different trucks to put telephone poles in the ground. They all had the same setup. They had a bunch of GMC and Chevy World War II vehicles. And I have photos of actually the chief engineer sitting in one of the GMCs from like 45. I mean, this thing was a big, beastly truck. And we had to find a part for Swede. We needed the turn signal switch. It sits on the column below the column. It's a weird switch. Only for 62 to 61, 62 had the switch, I think it was. Or 62, 63 had the switch that way. And this guy is like a hoarder. I mean, he's got tons of stuff everywhere. Walking to his shop, he's got 5-gallon bins full of just stuff. And Eric's like, oh, I gotta find this, right? And he's like, takes off. He's like, he's on a mission. And I'm like, I'm thinking about banjos and shotguns. This is not cool. So he ends up talking to the guy, and the guy has it in a 5-gallon drum, has this switch. And I ended up buying it for like $20. It's like, it was right in the counter for a while. I think I put it outside with the rest of my parts. Trying to make this turn signals work has been electrical nightmare. I've ran all new electrical, it still doesn't work, so I'm still working on that. But anyways, it's cool. It was a cool event. Every once I share on my Facebook because it comes to memory. It's really cool to drive around some graveyard and find a bunch of old parts and stuff. Yeah, very cool. All right, so anyways, while that's crazy, crap for the truck I will use, not quite sure. So trucks have changed a lot, right? So now the crew cab truck is now a family truck. And the family truck is the family van is truck. So I tell people this all the time. When I bought my Tundra, it was that or a minivan. Wasn't a hard choice. That's not a hard choice. It's an easy decision. And I was running Tundra headquarters at the time, so it's easy to buy that because why not? I'm running the site. I want to learn more about it. Good way to learn more about it is to own one. So yeah. What the SUV was in the 90s. That's something back to that Nissan NV. 42,000 for that. Think about a new Tahoe. New Tahoes are like 60,000. Yukons are like 70,000. Escalades, 90,000. You can get a 12-passenger MG van. Doesn't look sexy, but it has 4-wheel drive. Same capability as Tahoe. 42,000. It's not a bad price, especially if you're a Mormon family out there in Utah and you want to haul around your kids. So lots of, I don't know, it was kind of a fun trip. So yeah, I'll be working on Swede this week, and I will, Tahoes are crazy price. And I drove the Tahoe RST. I think it's got a 6.2 liter V8 in it. Maybe it's turboed, I'm not sure. Brembo brakes. I think it's fast. It's fun. It's really fun. People are gonna buy it. Chevy's not something in there. So driving in Denver, doing the F-150 drive, F-150 diesel. I'll be back after that, and then I fly. I don't know, like a week or two. I'm home. Thank goodness. And then I'm playing golf, Nissan, and Habitat for Humanity. Maybe Mark's right. Maybe that whiskey is kicking in. Habitat for Humanity golf course, charity event. I'll be playing that. And then I'm going to try to make it to Michigan. There's a couple stories up there, one involving Toyota, that I'm going to try to get involved in and see if I can't do some follow-ups on. So, more on Toyota. Yeah. I don't know if I have anything else. I mean, that's kind of the week. That was busy. Stuff going on. You guys got any questions? Like, ask me anything, journalist. Stuff takes forever to get to print. I'll submit a story like today, and it takes like 4 months to go make the magazine. If you guys, so I have the degrees over here, but if you notice over here, I'll share this in my crappy closet. Those are my initial stories that I sold. So that is the Cummins diesel I found in the field in Nebraska. Not Nebraska, sorry, in South Dakota. Sorry, Sean commented again. I got confused. Not the whiskey. That's the Cummins diesels, forefather of all current generations Cummins diesels I found in the field in South Dakota. Which incidentally, I'll be going back to South Dakota. There's a auction up there, 600 Mopar 1970s Dodge Chargers, Challengers, and Plymouth Roadrunners. Guys auctioning off. I'm writing a story for Haggerty, and I'll be up there doing that auction. There's that one. There's that one. There's that one. Oh, this one right there. That is why you need snow tires in your truck. Yeah, that was my first story I ever sold Truck Trend. And that over there, I believe, is the Boston Globe. I wrote a story on how Cadillac is helping fuel the profits to increase the R&D for new Chevy trucks. So cool. I mean, I keep this stuff, kind of cool stuff. I have a few more I need to put up there. Things come out. Oh, Thunder Dude's raising his hand. Does he have a question? Just tried to buy a towel for my wife this weekend. Crazy what they want. It is nuts, isn't it? Hey, has anybody tried to buy a Sequoia? So it turns out there's a Sequoia in the press fleet. I've been seeing other people. So in my business, we do a lot on Facebook, right? And so praising my accomplishments. Oh, thanks, Mark. We do a lot on Facebook, and so you can kind of watch what vehicles are in the press fleet by what other people are doing. And there's a Sequoia out there. Did you know that the Sequoia in the Platinum? Yeah, Platinum has air suspension. Did you know that? It actually has ride leveling air suspension. So if you hook on a trailer to the back of that, the back end will actually rise up and create leveled towing experience. So there you go. So Ram does air suspension in the 1500. So if Toyota has it in the Sequoia, could they do it in the Tundra? Mark taking notes behind. Maybe I'll tell you what, Mark. You and I talk a lot offline, and that was a lot of work, and that was a lot of risk. That was for sure. Same frame, Sean. Same frame. Sequoia is built on basically. Sequoia is a Tundra with a covered bed. I mean, right? It's the same idea. So it's like, if they can do that in that, why couldn't they do an air ride suspension in a 1794 Tundra? People are buying it. It's interesting. Those things you think about when you start, talking about them. Did you guys see the new RAV4? Have you guys ever seen the new RAV4? It's interesting. I've talked to several people on this. CNET was big on this too. I was having some drinks with Emmy Hall. She's a CNET reviewer over there, great friend of mine, and she was talking about the RAV4 blew up on them. Like, their web traffic was huge on the new RAV4, and yeah, my traffic was pretty big in Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk, pickuptrucktalk.com was pretty big in the RAV4, and I'm surprised. I have been a critic of the RAV4. I really have. I'm not a big fan of it. It didn't look really good at all to me. And so it's interesting that the RAV4 got that much traffic. And the adventure trim, excuse me. The adventure trim is looking a lot better. Like instead of just some paint and some tires, they've looked like they've done some really good stuff to that. So I'm really curious. And anybody surprised at the RAV4 coming out adventure trim? And then in another couple months, we should hear more about the Ford Bronco and the Ford Baby Bronco. Toyota's paying attention. They are. I'm telling you. You think these decisions are made at like some high level and there's tons of people? No. I'm telling you, there's like one or two engineers. They're watching this live stream. They're watching others. They're taking notes. They really do. One of my famous stories is that, did you know on the TRD Pro there is a skid plate, right? And so I was in the launch in 2014 at that in Jackson Hole, and I said, hey, why isn't there like an oil access for the oil filter? Why isn't there an access panel for the oil filter? And they were like, well, whatever. And so one of their engineers came to me afterwards, like, oil filter access panel. I said, yeah, the skid plate, because you got to take off like 4 bolts. You got to lower it down, get the oil filter. You got to take the oil filter off. You got to do all the stuff to get the oil filter changed. I said, why is there not an access panel? It just makes common sense, right? I'll tell you what, it was March or April, Denver Auto Show. I crawl underneath the Tundra TRD Pro, and there's a damn access panel on the skid plate. You're welcome. Okay, all right, I don't know how they do that. All right, so anyways, but that stuff happens. I mean, it totally happens. And you would be surprised how much impact you have. The new VW Tannock, whatever pickup, VW is asking for people's input on whether they should build it. You guys play a role in whether they're going to build that vehicle or not. You really do. They really want to know. The Colorado Zero 2, you know what happened? All of us said, you need to build the damn thing. Within a month of unveiling that in LA in 2016, they got to work on developing a new truck, because I was with a group with Truck Trend, Pickup Trucks, Diesel Power. I mean, you name it. I was standing in a circle, and we all said to them, "You need to build this damn truck," and they built it. So, okay. John says, "Yep, I'm liking it." I'm telling you, that RAV4 is pretty impressive. Sean says, "Yes, they're hot. A crap up here." They're hot a crap up here. I like it. Seems like 20 to 30 something loves them up here, and honestly, the used market is hot too. So when it hits the floor, I'm sure it'll fly. I've credited the RAV4. I really have, but I'm excited. I actually almost called Toyota and I wanted to go to the launch of that. The launch was, I think it was after the New York Auto Show. I was out of town anyways, too busy. It wasn't that in RAV at first, but almost at 350,000 miles, my 98, and I would get another. You guys know the Million Mile Tundra. You guys know the Million Mile Tundra story. Well, I found that. That was mine. So there you go. If you ever see that, you know where you found it first. New RAV4 is interesting. I hope that it's comfortable enough. You know what kills me? Have you ever driven the BMW X1? That's their SUV that's like the RAV4. Those seats are terrible. I get leg pain sitting in those seats. I've literally wrote about that. I've really literally popped Advil driving that vehicle. Terrible. And I'm a fairly fat, but I'm not that big to cause leg pain. It was crazy. Yes, we looked at one. My brother actually got a new one last year, but went with a Highlander because we need the extra room for people and pets. My wife's a big fan of Highlander. She needs a new car this next fall, and I keep pushing her Highlander. I like it. Video truck. I saw that during the New York Auto Show. Interesting. It is interesting. Million Mile Tundra was it? I never knew. Yeah, that was mine. The backstory is I found it on Facebook. I literally was on one of those Twitter groups on Facebook, and I saw it, and I called up. I actually messaged the dealership, and next day they got back to me, and I called Victor Shepard, talked to him on the phone. Victor Shepard was driving, of course, right? And he had Bluetooth. So I took him on the phone, did an interview, wrote a bunch of notes, and then I submitted the story to Truck Trend, and I went and played golf. I didn't think anything of it. And it went live, and nothing really happened. And a couple months later, I get a call from my peer rep, and he's like, "Hey, that Million Mile Tundra story you wrote, it's gone national." And I'm like, "It's gone what? Huh? What? National?" He's yeah, Harvey's picking up. We're gonna do a key swap with the guy. We're gonna give him a new truck and buy his old truck. They never told me what they bought it for. I said, okay, cool. I want to be there. He goes, you do? I said, yeah. He said, okay. Let me call you back. Click. And then he calls me back. He says, all right, we're flying you down. So I fly down, and again, golf story, right? I fly down, and the presentation's like at, I don't know, like 1 o'clock at a dealership, and they're doing my gosh, they had a caterer at a bounce house. They bought like a $3,000 red carpet. Red carpet. And we go the night before, and it's me and Mike Swears, and walking the dealership. Mike Swears goes straight to the truck, and I'm talking to Victor, and I'm watching Mike Swears. I wrote that in the story. And I told my lady I was with, I don't remember her name. Damn it, she's a really nice person. I'm sorry. I apologize. Don't remember the name. Anyways, I said, drop me off at the local golf course. I'm not gonna sit in the hotel room for freaking till 1 o'clock. This is dumb. So I played golf. One of the holes actually had a big cargo ship you had to aim at. It's kind of crazy. So I played golf. She picked me up, and then we drove to the dealership, and actually they had a presentation, and I was there by myself, like no other journalist, and the local guy from the local newspaper. He's taking notes doing the thing, and they invite me up to talk. And I'm like, what the? I just found it. I don't really know anything else about it. I just found it. So I go up there and talk and say where I found it from. The guy's taking photos of me, and I'm like, I'm nobody. I'm a journalist. I just found it, right? So they do the swap. And Victor does not want to give up his keys. He does not want to give up his keys at all. Mike, if you ever seen Swears is the same height as I am. And Swears is trying to grab the keys from him, and Victor's like 6'7", like 350. I mean, he's not a fat guy. I wouldn't consider him fat. He's just a big man. It's just DNA. He's a big guy. And trying to give the keys, it was a really great photo. And so we did a swap. And I'm actually there with my friend that I became good friends with from Toyota. And we do dinner. Actually, talked Swears into buying my 63 International at dinner. That's a whole nother story. Ask me about that later. And so we do dinner. And then I was after Toyota for like forever to do the follow-up because I knew they're going to tear it down. Well, what happened was the plant in San Antonio wanted it. The engine plant in Alabama wanted it. And Tech Center wanted it. So they had to appease all these people. And then I finally after months of harassing the guys, I finally got them to say yes, and I was able to fly to Alabama and in Huntsville and meet with the engine team, which the engine team was just phenomenal, really good professionals. And I got to go behind the scenes inside the plant and look at the engine after they tore it down. And I got to tell you what, the valve stems on the piston rods have the stems on the bottom. Usually they're coated, like they're nasty because you get carbon buildup. Things were whistle clean, just completely clean. The whole engine looked great. They actually have a great story where they dynoed it after they convinced the production plant manager to allow them to. They dynoed it, and it ran better than the engine coming off the line. They literally attributed it to the fact that it ran. Like the best thing you can do with any truck is an SUV is drive it. Don't ever park it because you're saving it. That's terrible. Drive it. That's the best thing you can do. And so took that, and that same day flew to the tech center in Saline, Michigan, and I was with those guys, talking to those guys, and we spent like a good hour and a half with a seat. He's a big guy, right? And we're like, so what's wrong with the seat? And it was funny. They actually it was cloth seats. They pulled it apart, and there was one like this big tear. And it was where the bolsters had come in. They had sewn the bolsters. So where that kind of seam is, there was a little bitty tear at 1,000,000 miles. And they climbed in and out. And usually that, butt cheek bolster, right? A wrong way enter and exit is where it gets torn quite a bit, and had no issues there at all. And the tech center was funny. They actually put it on display. They redesigned part of that building to have the 1,000,000-mile Tundra be there. And so they could actually show it off. They tore it all down, and I went through, it was just crazy. The glove box worked perfectly. Everything was perfect. It was surprising. It just was so shocking how good a shape that was. And so I wrote that. There's a story on Truck Trend. It's the final build down. It was all right. Turpmo Horn. It was one of the best stories I had last year. It was really cool. I'm really proud of that story. 18 months for 3 stories. That's how much I had to follow that story, but I knew it was a good story. Hotshot driver. All right, so sorry, I missed a bunch of comments. I'm gonna go back. Actually, I'm gonna drink. I went with Highlander. My bro got a VAV4. Great vehicles. Well, wife, no Highlander for me. Oh, yeah. Once my wife gets a Highlander, it's not for me anymore. The Mid-Mile Tundra story is my plugged all folks' interest in a Tundra. And that's why I keep my Tundras. I'm on my 4th gen. DV, you're right. And again, it was dumb luck. I was scrolling through Facebook, which I've been fortunate to get several story ideas. And people send me ideas, and I follow up on them. And it was a big story. I think it put my career on the map. I think people know my name by now from that story. And it was really cool. Toyota did a thing at the San Antonio plant, and actually the engineer said, "Hey, we found this story because of Tim Esterdahl, because he, showed it to us." And as good as the 16, I spent months comparing everything before I had an 08 Highlander Sport before I got the 11-ton Tacoma. I'm impressed you got 11 Tacoma. Used Tacomas are pretty expensive. This wasn't a date. It was a handler. Date. I do a lot of stories a week. There's a lot of stuff I forget. It's really funny. I felt the same way last time I sold my Tundras. Hope this last one. No build up. Yeah, no wears. Drove my Tundra 2-3 days a week. I use my day drive to work. 17 Honda CRV. I would say the CRV. I just had that. I look at my form. I think it's 18. There's really cute video with my son and I in the 18 Tundra or 18 Honda CRV. The Million Mile Tundra is currently in the tech center in Saline, Michigan. You can't see it. The engine is torn down. It's actually in Huntsville. Each facility wanted that to put on display. The Huntsville actually said they're going to put it on a corner where you had to walk by every day, and they were going to say that's the quality we want to aspire to. And so you can't see it. Any updated replacement? Actually, yeah, Sean. I was talking to Victor, and DV says he got a 2016 Tundra. That's actually inaccurate. He has like 3 or 4 Tundras. He had like a fleet of these Tundras, and he keeps one at home and one he drives for work because he's a hotshot driver, drives anywhere in the country. And I told him, I said, I'll see you in about 7 years, because that's about his average for getting a million miles. I think it's 7 years, 6-7 years. And he's on the way. He's on the way to getting a million mile Tundra. I think he will actually put another million miles in another Tundra. I'm this with that guy, and I'm pretty. He knows to reach out to me, and so yeah, round 2, Sean. Wow, round 2, yeah. Toyota figured out a bunch of crazy stats. He drove like 13.5 miles per hour every hour he owned the truck. He drove to the moon and back like 4 or 5 times. I mean, it just was crazy. Yeah, he was not happy giving up his beast, as he called it. And he wasn't really happy with new truck. He really wasn't. He really wanted a little truck. He put and we got 2 minutes left here. And pure facts, he put more than 1 million miles under it because the odometer quit working. It only went 999,999, and it had a triple meter counting the next additional miles. And so, yeah, it was crazy. I'm looking forward to follow up on videos and Victor's Tundra. Yeah, he's still driving, and it's a great story. He actually worked at a dealership. That dealership, dealership was. He's still name off the top of my head. Anyways, he worked at a dealership out of high school, and he was the oil tech, and so he totally bought into the Toyota Tundra, and totally bought into Toyota, and then he drove it as he got new jobs. It was a sad story. The dealer was filing divorce from the husband, and there was a lot of questions about who owned the dealer. She actually moved on to a Nissan dealer as part of the settlement. Just a sad situation, and so it's unfortunate because the dealer was great, and she did over the moon a great job. Fantastic dealer, and I wish I could find her a Nissan Titan that did the same, but I can't so far. Maybe there's one out there. What's interesting about the Tundra was it was the first time any truck had the same engine, same transmission, all the service records done dealership. It was a stack like this big of paper that all the oil changes, and all done right there at dealership, single owner. First time ever. I did a bunch of research, and people had new engines or transmissions, all sorts of stuff. So, all right, that's it. That's it. We have 47 seconds for an hour. I don't want to keep you guys too long. I got a slew of stuff coming out this week. Make sure you follow us on the Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk. It's either plus or and, depending on social media network. Lots of good content. I got lots of videos. I just need to get some work done. I'll be in my office tomorrow and Tuesday and try to get stuff out to you guys. And so enjoy. And we'll see you next week on the eve of heading to Denver. We'll see if I can't get Sweet going. So later, boys. And for those of you, have a good night.